Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So my name is Hannah. I am a fourth year, hopefully in September, dental student, and I'm actually studying in Slovakia at the moment. But before I studied in Slovakia, I actually moved universities from Egypt. So I spent 3 years in Egypt and then I moved to Slovakia. I'll get to those reasons as to why I moved in a minute. But for the last 3-4 years, I've just been documenting my journey, studying in Egypt and then moving to Slovakia, as bizarre as it is. And because my journey is obviously not a common path that most people would take, I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to document this. So I've been vlogging, or trying to vlog, for the past 3 years, living in Egypt, doing some Slovakia vlogs as well with the university here. I just hope that whoever's new to my channel, you get something out of it. So today I'm going to be talking about why I moved from Egypt to Slovakia and why you should be careful if you are thinking of applying to medicine or dentistry in Egypt, and why there are things to consider. I do have a lot of people who reach out to me online, girls and boys, but mostly girls, asking about safety, asking about do I need to know the language really well, that kind of thing. So I'm going to cover everything that I would usually ask people who reach out to me in this video, because it is important that you go to the right place. Egypt was fantastic, don't get me wrong. I've moved at the end of the day, and the reason that I've moved, I will get onto that in this video. I didn't dislike the country or the people, it wasn't anything to do with that. It was very much to do with my academic career and my career in dentistry moving forward. There were certain hurdles with staying in Egypt that I didn't really want to go through. I just wanted it to be a little bit easier for myself. So that's why I moved to Slovakia. But yeah, I hope that if you're new to my channel, you enjoy my content. I do have a few vlogs here and there. My channel's very random. I do have a few vlogs here and there. I also have information videos about moving to Egypt and applying there. So go ahead, take a little look. And if you're returning, then I am so happy that you're being loyal. Thank you so much. So let's get into the video. So why should you be careful when choosing to apply to Egypt for medicine or dentistry? Let's get right into it. Honestly, I just want to help whoever's watching and whoever wants to study dentistry abroad or medicine abroad. I just want to help you guys to make the right decision with your education. I want to help you find the best place for you, because the amount of time that I would have saved if I'd gone straight to Slovakia instead of going to Egypt is insane. I would have saved 3 years essentially. So I just want to help whoever I can really to make the right decisions about their education. So why might Egypt seem appealing? So the country itself is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful, and it has so many beautiful beach places. Guna, Fayoum, it has Hurghada, Alexandria. People are very friendly, it has a very rich culture. I'd understand fully as to why people would want to move there to study. Also, the cost of education will be a lot cheaper in Egypt, so this is very attractive. And there are also very, very good universities, state and private, for both medicine and dentistry in Egypt. It's a very attractive place to study. So the biggest mistake that I made when applying for Egypt was I overlooked the ORE exam. Okay, so this exam is a very, very important exam that you must do if you're looking to practice in the UK after you graduate dentistry. I'm not sure about medicine. I only really know it from the perspective of dentistry. So you will have to pass this exam. Not only is it difficult to get seats for this exam, it is not an easy exam by any means. And why would you want the extra hurdle after graduating? After graduating, you should be ready to just apply for the GDC and start working straight away. That is what I'd hope most people would want. So the reason that I moved was because I didn't want the extra stress of knowing that I had another exam to take. Side note as well, because you are waiting to sit the exam, I had a fear that my hands would just get cold and I would forget all of the practical skills from dentistry that I'd learned. If you're not working every day and doing clinical experience as you would do during your degree, then you're eventually going to just lose that skill. So I didn't want to take that risk, and that's why I moved. So if you are happy with doing the ORE exam, fair enough, but please do your research. I will attach some documents down below in the description to highlight what the ORE exam is. It will be from the GDC website most likely. What the ORE exam is, the different components of the ORE exam, who must sit it. So it's for people who would like to work in the UK, be licensed in the UK as a dentist, after graduating from overseas. So another thing that people really do overlook is the language barrier. I was attending Ain Shams University in Egypt, and this is a state university. They had specified that they will teach in English. However, because it was a state university and not a private university, a lot of my colleagues in my class were Egyptian. So this meant that when classes were being taught, they were usually taught in Egyptian. This was a bit difficult to allow passive learning, you know, through lectures and everything like that. So that was one thing. You need to also bear in mind, guys, this is very important, that from 4th year on to your 6th year, your internship year, you will need to be doing clinical work. To get clinical work, you'll need to be speaking to people. That obviously requires you to know the language. So if you don't know any Arabic and it's completely new to you, I would really not recommend Egypt, because your success is almost solely reliant on conversing with Egyptians. This will be Egyptians who don't know any English at all. It will be Egyptians who are from like more rural parts of Egypt. They've come in especially just to get their teeth done. They might not have as much money. You know, they won't know any English. So you need to make sure if you are going that you know this. And this is always something that I ask people. I ask them, do you know any Arabic? Have you had any experience with Arabic at all? If they say that they don't know any Arabic, I really do try to urge them to move to somewhere where it would be easier to learn, to have that passive learning where it's going to be taught in English. So yes, I'm in Slovakia at the moment, and yes, I have to learn the language, Slovak language. In order to get clinical experience here, I am very sure that I will need to know the language quite strongly. So the good thing about the university here is that they actually provide Slovak classes, and you can't move on to the next subjects unless you've passed Slovak. So they make sure that you really do know your language here. In Egypt, there wasn't any kind of extracurricular classes to learn Arabic, not that I know of. It might have changed since I was there, but I don't think there are any. I don't think the system is how it would be here, where you have to learn Slovak as one of your subjects. I think a big part of not learning Arabic was because A, it's a very difficult language for those people who don't have experience learning it, and B, it wasn't incorporated into the university system, so we didn't have to learn it. So if I had stayed there until 4th year, I would have realised that I would have struggled so much with getting any kind of clinical experience, because I would not been able to communicate. This is the first thing that I ask people. I ask them, do you know Arabic? And I also ask them about my first point, which was, do you know about the ORE exam after you graduate? Usually I pair 2 questions together when I ask them about the ORE exam. I ask, do you want to practice in the UK when you're finished, when you graduate? And do you know about the ORE exam? If you say no to both these questions, no, I don't know any Arabic, and no, I don't know about the ORE exam, then I definitely think that going to Europe may be better for you and easier for you. Why wouldn't you want the easier route? Another thing that I must mention is the culture difference. I will ask someone if they are introverted first of all. If you're going alone to Egypt and you're introverted, it's not really the place for you. You need to be very confident. You need to be able to go up to people and ask them for help. Yes, everyone's very helpful, everyone's very friendly. So a lot of the time you'll probably notice that people help you without you having to ask them, which I think that's why I loved Egypt. That's why I love Egyptian people. I just think they're so friendly and they're so warm, but you can't rely on that entirely. You need to be extroverted if you're going to survive in a country like that alone. I was with 2 other friends, and those friends were guys. So yeah, I'm naturally quite introverted, I'd say, most of the time. So if I'd gone alone to Egypt, I would have struggled really. And then if I didn't know the language on top of that, it just would have been really not nice. I'm gonna get onto this in a minute, but even leaving Egypt and trying to get all my documents, I'm not sure I would have been able to leave Egypt and I would have ever got round to that stage of leaving and getting the documentation to leave if there hadn't been that group, teamwork there with my friends to go in, take turns to go into the office every day. I'm not sure that would have happened if I was alone. There are a lot of hurdles with staying in Egypt, and I wouldn't, unless you're overly confident, I wouldn't suggest it to anyone, no. The language, the ORE, as I will keep saying, are so important. If you're introverted and not familiar with the culture, getting like your beauty products, your essentials, going for your food shop might not be as easy in Egypt. Yes, there are delivery services, but you know, your small luxuries that you usually find, you know, in the UK, you probably won't find that they are as easily accessible in Egypt generally. There's also admin and documentation challenges. So if you are needing to get documentation processed by a certain amount of time, I had 3 examples of this. It took a few months to get into the university. That took a few months. And then it must have taken around 2 months to leave the university. This was all an administrative process. So it is a bit of a nightmare, and you need to go in person to the office and ask them in person. You need to be going in, I'd say, every day. So if you are looking to apply for any Egyptian university to study medicine or dentistry, I would highly urge that you go to Egypt and visit the office in person. The office is the Wafadine Study in Egypt students office, and it is in Nasser City. If I was still there, then I would go in for you guys, but I'm not still there, unfortunately. Don't email them, they won't reply. They'll take too long to process your documents. Go there in person. If you have a friend there, get them to go in for you. Really try to be strict and assertive about getting into the uni on time for September, for the new year starting. That office in Nasser City, I've been there several times. Once to get into the university, to pay fees, everything like that, and then again to leave. Each time I had to get something done, it was literally a case of getting up before 8 a.m, going down to the office and waiting there for most of the day. So just be prepared to really put the time in to be waiting for them. For me, I found these challenges quite overwhelming, and you know, the whole thing with the ORE, I always felt like it was a big black cloud just hanging over me. Even when I had graduated from Egypt, I still knew that I would not feel satisfied, knowing that I would still have to sit another exam that was expensive, that took a long time to sit. So, you know, my hand skills would be getting cold in that time. So because by now, 2024, I thought that most countries in the EU and overseas would have to sit to the ORE, because that is what the GDC had alluded to back when I was applying for Egypt. This is why I went to Egypt. I did know about the ORE, but I thought that it would be something manageable. I thought that if I had to sit the ORE anyway, regardless of where I went, that I'd be better going to somewhere that would teach me dentistry properly. And I know that a lot of you guys out there who are sitting A-levels or about to sit A-levels, you're looking for somewhere to study. Maybe you're finding that getting into dentistry school in the UK is very hard, which it is. So you're looking at alternative options. If you're looking at Europe and Egypt, I would recommend, you can get in touch with me, obviously, but again, if you're saying no to a lot of these questions, I would recommend that you definitely do your research and look into Europe instead. Make sure that it is within the list of countries that the GDC have published to be in the EU. You know, Slovakia is great. You don't have to do the ORE here, which is fab. You can just start working straight away after you graduate. Spain, Poland, you know, these kind of places are incredible. So look into them. I really enjoy documenting my journey through vlogs, through talking head videos like I'm doing now, information videos, so that I can help you guys to make the right decision to study at the right place, because there's nothing worse than wasting time like I have, wasting the 3 years in Egypt, and then when I transferred from 3rd year in Egypt, I got into 3rd year in Slovakia because it was counted as a transfer. So I didn't actually go into 4th year. It wasn't a seamless transfer for me. So here's my advice for prospective students who are about to do their A-levels, who are about to do some big exams. If you get your A-level results and you want to study medicine or dentistry and you know that you don't want to go to the UK to study it, then this is my advice if you are looking into Egypt. Language skills, okay? So if you know Arabic, Egypt might be the place for you because your language will come in handy. It will allow you to go to different Middle Eastern countries. Career goals. If you want to study in the UK or Europe, consider sticking to those kind of countries to study. You don't want to have additional hurdles and just more of a headache. You want to make it as easy as possible for yourself after you graduate. Having to do another exam after you graduate, it's not the one, and you will probably find that it will demotivate you. Cultural adaptation. Make sure that you are the type of person who is confident, who goes out of their way themselves to make something happen. Egypt, they will not hand you things. You need to very much go and chase things yourself, especially documentation, especially admin. And also culturally as well, be prepared to face a whole different world out there, because things are so different. The heat is one of them. You know, if you don't adapt to the heat very well, that's possibly something to consider. Culture as well, so really do your research and look into that. I have a few vlogs if you are wondering about the culture, if you're wondering about what the vibe of life is like over there. You can watch some of my older vlogs. They're so old, it's quite funny. Administrative process as well. Okay, so be prepared for quite a slow administrative process, especially with documentation that you're wanting to process in Egypt. They do take their time, they do have a lot to process, and unfortunately, not a lot is done over email, so you will have to visit them in person. Like I said before, it would be an idea to visit Egypt. If this is something that you are really considering going to university there, studying dentistry or medicine there, I would highly, highly, highly consider visiting for a week and going into the office every day, asking about, bring your GCSEs with you, bring your A-levels with you, or if Scottish equivalents, bring standard grades and higher, which is what I did in Scotland. Bring all of your certificates, be completely prepared, and go in with paper form of your documents. Tell them your situation and they should be able to do something for you if you visit them in person. If you rely on emails, then nothing will get done. I'm just being honest with you guys. While Egypt offers some advantages for if you do want to work in a Middle Eastern country, or if you do know Arabic, it may be a great place for you. However, if you want more of a straightforward path and you are looking to practice in the UK or Europe after you graduate, then Egypt, it may not be the place for you, even though you do know Arabic. So these are different things to weigh up and consider. I hope that my video has been really helpful for you guys. It's not been too serious, or I've not scared you off or anything. Egypt is a great place, trust me, but you do need to be realistic when you are considering where to study. And if you want to reach out to me, you can. My Instagram and my TikTok are linked below in the description. You can also comment in the comment section below as well. Really, I do appreciate the views and those guys who have reached out about studying in different places. I like people who are, you know, doing their research about their future, because it matters to them, and that is definitely the kind of person that I am. So I just want to help you guys if that is you. Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you later. Bye.